Okay, so I bought those LED headlights. They're 7x6 Genssi LED bulbs with 15 LEDs per light, and wanted to install them in my Toyota for my son. It's an older model, it's a 92. And the problem that I found, and I've heard from everyone else, is they can't get the bright or dims to work. You can either have one, the dim, or you can have the brights. Well, I figured it out. So I went to the store and I bought some parts. I bought this kit right here. It's a relay kit. Comes with the relay and the plug harness for it, and it switches it. I got to pick this up at Baxter Auto Parts. That's what it is. And it comes with a wiring diagram as well. It's a 5-pin with the harness for it. And so I've already installed it on the driver's side. The lights are both installed, and there are my relays that I installed for the driver's side. And it comes with a wiring diagram, how to hook it up. I'm going to show you guys how it's done right now. So I've already pre-done one of them right here. This is the wiring harness for the relay, which the blue wire right here is the trigger wire, and the green wire is the ground. This is to actuate the relay, to energize it. And then this red wire right here is your power that you need to send to the relay for your headlight. This yellow wire is a normally open, and this orange wire is the normally closed. So when the relay actuates, this opens up, the orange wire opens up and closes in power to the yellow wire. So what I also done is I bought one of these H4 plugs. It comes just like this with these wires, which is red, blue, and black. And the back of the plugs for the LED bulbs, those Genssis, are like this. So they come wired up with this plug right here being the low beam. This one right here is the high, and this one is the ground. So corresponding onto this plug, this red wire is for your high beam, this blue wire is for the low beam, and the black wire is the ground. So I've already hooked this ground wire up to my chassis ground right here, and I already put one relay here. I'm going to install the other relay right below it. So let's get these hooked up. Oh, the other thing that you guys need to know. So the Toyota's, the reason why it doesn't work is because it only has one power source, and the Toyota switches the ground. So on both sides you'll have 3 wires. One of them will be red and black. One of them will be red and green and red and yellow. On the driver's side you'll have red and white, red and yellow, and red and green. So the red and black and the red and white is the power. So when you turn your lights on and your dims are on, you'll have power into this post all the time. And so the way it works is it switches. So this post right here is going to be your high beam ground, and this is your low beam ground. So essentially what we're doing with these relays is we're taking this cord, since this is your trigger wire, this is going to be for my low beams. So I'm going to take and put a spade connector on the end of these, and I plugged it in right into the 12-volt supply when you turn your lights on. And then the green wire is the ground, so I'm going to plug it in to the low beam supply right there. So when you turn your lights on, now the low beams will come on. But in order to get the high beams to work, you have to have a second source of power. So that's where both relays come into play. So now I'm going to install this second relay on my firewall. The other side, I just use self-tapping screws and put it into this side. of the fender. So one thing you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to disconnect your battery before you hook these up. So I just mounted this. I just used the same bolt. Mine had an extra bolt in right up here. And then I used the same mounting bracket for this fuse holder to hold this second relay. So this one, even though I tied it in for my low beam, I need to use this for my high beam. So the ground for the trigger wire needs to go on the other side, because I used the yellow wire here connected to the red wire for the high beam. And this blue wire, which is the trigger wire, will actually be connected to my second power source that I'm going to be connecting to the positive side of the battery terminal. Oh, I connected both of them. That's what I did. So this blue wire still gets hooked up into that 24 volt pin. That second relay won't energize though until you click the brights on, which closes this ground in right here, this wire. So that's why I had to have this. So what I'm doing, is I'm using the same power source from the stock plugs to energize both relays, and since using the same switching that the truck has been using. So I've taken both of my relay plugs right here with the blue wires and connected them to another third wire, which is red, which is just a jumper wire, so that I can take these two wires and put them into one. So now that I have that, there's my trigger wires with the one power source. So then that plugs into your power source on your stock plug. And so this wire is going to be my trigger wire for my low beams. It's not the trigger wire, that is the low beam circuit. This guy, the green one. So you got the trigger wire and your ground. That's the power for the relay.